Good afternoon or good evening to you all. I am Helder Pereira, and I'm currently a researcher in GECAD, an innovation and development group affiliated with the Polytechnic of Porto in Portugal. I'm here today to present my research on a web-based platform capable of managing cities and energy communities and their members. Here is the outline of my presentation, with the topics that will be covered during the same. I will mainly focus on showing the interface of the developed platform and explain the available services there. The cities and energy communities are gaining a huge popularity due to the multiple services that can be used on them in order to benefit both the end users and the grid itself. These communities, foreseen in a directive of the Parliament and the Council of the European Union, allow the end users to participate voluntarily in community energy programs. The publication of this directive was a major step towards the real implementation of this type of initiatives, since they started to be promoted as real entities, resulting so in an empowerment of their users through a much more active participation in the energy market. With the growth in the number of these communities, it becomes important to create tools to manage them and simulate the application of various events or services that can have a positive impact on a community. The truth is that currently, under our research, don't exist many management models for these communities, namely with an intuitive interface and where it is possible to explore the data about the community in general and of each end user in particular. And besides that, the existing tools don't provide all the models needed to do a correct management of a community. So the proposed solution is a platform where the operator in charge of a community management can control it, with the possibility of having several communities stored on a platform and manage each one individually. The main goal of this tool is to study the impact of the various services developed on the consumption and generation profiles of the end users, as well as on a general maintenance of the community itself. Moreover, it is possible to see and study the historical data of the end users, as we can see in this figure. The platform is divided into services that can be run individually when the operator wants. Despite that, some of the services are dependent on others, only being available after other services complete. Given this architecture for services, the maintenance of each service and adding new ones is a simple process that doesn't cause damage to the existing ones. Another advantage of the developed solution is that the web application and the server where the services are hosted are executed separately. And as such, it is possible to browse the platform while the services are running, not forcing the operator to wait indefinitely for a service to finish to see the results of the other services or explore the available data. Here we can see the general architecture of the web platform and the data flow inside it. Each step is numbered and described in the figure. The first two steps relate to the data upload, both from the end user historical data, represented here in step 1, and the tariffs information, represented in step 2. After that, all the services are unlocked and ready to be executed, with the exception of the last service, the load response, because it is mandatory to execute the elasticity service before. The following steps refer to the ideal procedure when using the platform, as it enables the access to all the potential of the developed services. I will only present the 4 services shown in this figure, but the development of the platform already contains other features. And quickly explaining the flow of these services, the first one is the tariffs calculation that can, after its execution, be used in the aggregation of the end users, that is the service responsible to split the users by their attributes. The price elasticity measures the consumer's response to price changes that will then be used to simulate the load response service, where is requested a consumption decrease to the whole community in order to keep it running correctly. Now, in the case study section, I will go through each one of the available services, explaining them and showing some results of their execution. Okay, to start, let's introduce the use data. The use dataset contains information about 996 real end users, and it has details about the generation and consumption profiles of the users during 5 days, considering a granularity of 15 minutes. Besides that, it contains data about energy tariffs, flexibility, and others. The data is saved into the platform as a matrix, similar to the table presented here. Each row represents an end user, and the column is an attribute or parameter. As it is possible to see, each cell can take different data types. Considering the consumption profile and the generation type, the first is an array with the length being the number of periods available, and the last is just a field, in this case with text. This shows that the platform can adapt itself to the multiple data types provided. Explaining other feature of the platform, all the data is automatically adapted to the players. For instance, if a player has a consumption profile but doesn't have a generation profile, you will be automatically considered a consumer. And if he has both consumption and generation, you will be considered a prosumer. Going now to the services. The first one is the calculation of the best tariffs for each end user and their respective attribution. Basically, for each type of tariff, consumption and generation, it will be calculated, according to the formulas presented here, the cost and profit of the available tariffs for each end user. The cost refers to the consumption and the profits to the generation tariffs. Explaining, for example, the tariff cost formula, it is only necessary to multiply the consumption tariff by the consumption for each available period. The same logic is applied to the tariff profit formula, but using generation instead of consumption. Passing now to the results of the case study on this service. The tariffs that were used were based on MIVO, which is the Iberian electricity market, and it were created 5 different tariffs for each type. Looking now to this table, where are the savings and profits, the results were considerably positive. For example, the average savings in 5 days per players, considering the consumption tariff, were close to €1, making the average savings in a month per player being around €5. But if the service was applied to the whole month, in the community the savings would be around €5,000 in terms of consumption and around €1,200 considering the generation. These results show the importance of a service of this type, that despite being of a simple implementation, has a big and quick impact on a community. The next service is the aggregation of the end users. This service allows the users to be grouped according to their attributes, using a clustering algorithm, which in this case was k-means. The operator has the ability to choose the pretended attributes and the minimum and maximum number of clusters. Besides that, they used evaluation methods to find the optimal number of clusters, were elbow and silhouette. As I said, the operator can choose the pretended attributes, and to study this method, the chosen ones were the generation profile and the generation type. Now the results. Starting with the elbow evaluation, we can see that the optimal number of clusters is 3. And here we can see the cluster division. All the consumers, that is, those who don't produce energy, are in cluster 1. Then, in cluster 2, we have the users with generation through wind, which is a majority in this dataset. And the last cluster is composed by all the other end users with all the other types of generation. Considering now the silhouette evaluation, we can see that the optimal number of groups is 8. And this is a curious choice, as we can see now. With 8 clusters, the end users are divided basically by their generation type, as exists a cluster to each one of them. This shows that the silhouette evaluation benefits a greater end user splitting than the elbow. Going now to the third service, the price elasticity, it enables the calculation of the price elasticity of each end user for each available period. Usually, this type of service is only performed before and after a demand response program, in order to study the response of the end users. But in this case, it was executed a simulation with historical data of the end users. The formula for the calculation of price elasticity was applied to each one of the available periods, and then the points created were plotted into a scatter chart, as it is possible to see in this figure. Now, quickly explaining the components in this formula, the Q represents the consumption in the current period, and the delta Q the difference between that consumption and the consumption in the previous period. The same logic is applied to the energy price, represented here by the letter P. Then, linear and quadratic regressions are applied to the plotted points in order to create an elasticity profile for each end user. To study this service, we can evaluate the generated regressions that were applied to the points in a scatter plot, as we saw in the last slide. The metric used to evaluate the regressions was the R-squared, also known as the coefficient of determination. When we take a look at an overview of the scores to all the end users, we see that the difference between the two types of regressions is meaningful. The quadratic regressions, as expected, are much better suited to the generality of the end users, as the average score has a difference to the linear regression of almost 2/10. The minimum and maximum score also support this statement. And why it is important to have regressions that suit well to the end users? Mainly because it will result in a much more realistic simulation of the load response service. And this service, the last one, is responsible to simulate a request for a consumption decrease in a community and then calculate the necessary price change to achieve the pretended result. For this, the user profiles generated via the elasticity service are used. To study this method, it were requested multiple reductions in a community consumption, and analyzing the end user's response, it is possible to get some conclusions. As expected, a low reduction as 7.5 kWh, obviously considering the community size and consumption profile, also results in a low price increase. But then, when we try to make a reduction next to the sum of the consumption of all the end users, that is the limit for a request, the price has to increase more than 100%. That is, a little more than the double of the price of the energy. This increase obviously causes the majority of the end users to respond with a great consumption decrease. But the normal reductions that take values nor too high or too low can be achieved with some ease, as it is possible to see with the example of the 25 kWh decrease that was caused by a 10.9% price increase. Now we will see the other possibility of this service, that is the request for a consumption increase. It isn't the main goal of the service, but with the complete end user's profile, it can be studied too. Here, the maximum increase possible refers to the price decrease of 100%. That is, when the energy price becomes zero. Here, comparing with the previous table, reference to the consumption decrease, we can conclude that the end users are much more resistant to increasing consumption, even considering the price decrease. Some of the end users only increase consumption when the price changes almost 14%, despite in the previous case, 10% was the barrier to all the end users participate in this event. Now let's finish the presentation. After introducing the developed platform and all the available services, the conclusions we can take are the following. All the people who interacted with the platform find it was very easy to understand how to execute the services and even how to upload the different necessary data. As it supports uploading various communities that can have different end users with completely different profiles, it's possible to test the services and models in completely different situations and contexts. And last but not least, the platform being divided into services allows the scalability to other services. Where is the future work on this solution? as the inclusion of models of peer-to-peer and some methods over the grid as PowerFlow. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'm now available for your questions.